All right, guys, we're back. We are with Wes and Eric from Goat Authentics. I am Frank from Vitrine, and we've been really busy, and we probably would have liked to have done this sooner, but we're going to talk about the National today. Okay, had the pleasure of running into you guys and hanging out with you for quite some time, so that was a great experience for me personally. But I know, Wes, you've been to the National, but it was many years ago. Eric, this was your first time.
Sure.
So, Wes, why don't you tell us what your thoughts were or what your perception was of the National as it was this year as compared to maybe 20 years ago and the last time you were there, if you recall some of the details about the first time you were there.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot's changed. So
a lot has changed. And I think for me, one of the first things I noticed was the size of the show itself.
massive.
Absolutely massive. And the two shows that I remember most, my last two, were going back to Chicago. I think it was like 03, 04, and Atlantic City. I'm not sure which years, but those were the last two shows I've been to. And it was definitely a different experience. When I think back to the shows 20 years ago, it was a lot less high, a lot less, let's say, digital and as it is today. So it was like just going to, like, if you were going to, like, let's say a Frank and Sons back in the day, just multiply that. I don't know if you guys know what Frank and Sons are, is out here, but it's almost like a flea market type of card shop, but it's in like a giant facility / warehouse. It's just a different. I think it's just a different generation. When you walked into the National this year, kind of towards the front, you had a lot of the vintage cards, if you recall.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was like what the National was, just on a bigger scale back then. Now you walk in, and once you kind of get past that front section, you're hitting all these breakers and all the Upper Deck, Fanatics, Tops. Like, those companies weren't setting up shop back then. It was PSA.
These were all vendor dealers,
Yeah. And a lot more.
Was it like an overwhelming amount of trading cards back then like it is today? Or did you feel like back then there was a lot more memorabilia?
So what I love about the National, even the National this year, is I'm a memorabilia guy. So I don't think there's any other show that you could go to today that has as much memorabilia. It's just maybe because it's just the scale of the show.
Sure. Yeah.
But when you go to some of these smaller shows, very highly focused on cards, and many of them are just highly focused on, TCG and Pokemon and, Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! So one thing that I think separates National from many other shows, other than the size of it, is that it is, at least I feel, a lot more sports focused compared to some of these other shows.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, even 20 years ago, I went to the National for memorabilia, and I think I've even, I probably still have some pieces I bought. You're not going to find memorabilia anywhere else like you do at the National.
Yeah. If you're looking for something, it's most likely there, unless it's like super, super rare. But yeah, you could pretty much find anything, or find somebody who knows where you can acquire it. Because everybody who's everyone is at that convention.
Exactly.
So. All right, so Eric, what about you? So this was your first big show. You guys said that you went to another one back in March. So how did this compare to the small one? Do you feel like the small one was a little easier for you? Did you feel like it was like just too overwhelming because of how big it is? Because I know for the first year that I went to Chicago, I was dizzy, my head was spinning. I was trying to get my bearings. It's a big place. You see something, you walk away, you forget where you saw it, now you can't find it again. There's just so many tables. And for me, it was overwhelming. But how did you feel going to a show like that?
The scale was much bigger than I had expected. And I'm directionally challenged, so my ass was just walking in circles, just trying to figure out where I was going for 80% of the time, to be honest with you. But no, I echo almost everything that Wes said. I was surprised by the amount of cards. I knew that it was going to be card heavy given the amount of money and interest that is in cards nowadays. It was really dominated by cards, and I actually expected more memorabilia. I mean, I know that there was a lot, but given the scale of the show, I expected and was hoping for more. Because similar to Wes, I'm a memorabilia guy through and through. I own like a handful of cards that are worth anything at all. To be honest, like, it's something I'm starting to warm up to, though. Like, I think if I'm gonna continue to be in this hobby for a long, long time, as I hope to be, I think it's important to be knowledgeable within that aspect of the hobby as well. So I've been getting into it a bit. But yeah, the scale of the card booths and whatnot were, it was just everywhere, man, everywhere. They not to get off topic, but my favorite part about the show is just the networking and seeing everyone, man. Like it was just
Yeah,
so
that's
cool
the
to
best part
put
for me.
faces to all these profile pictures I see on Facebook every day, you know,
Yep.
and to actually get to shake hands and meet people and just talk about what sets us on fire and gets us excited and wants to, and just has us all going, was a really cool experience. So it was it was totally worthwhile. But man, was it packed. I mean,
No,
the first day I pulled into the parking garage and they hadn't shut it down yet, so I did a whole bunch of laps and it was totally full, so I ended up having to pull out of there and drive like a mile down the road and walk.
Yeah.
So
well, you're
I was
lucky. 'Cause
shocked by
2
all
years
that.
ago, there was no air conditioning.
Ouch.
Air conditioning broke, and there were little pockets where it was cool, but for the most part, it was hot as hell. So that also
Yeah.
played into, you know, just walking around feeling very overwhelmed and just then you're
Yeah.
sweating. It was just like,
Right.
it was a brutal first run for me. But
Yeah,
Was
but
that the
I,
Chicago or the Ohio show?
no, that was Chicago.
That was Chicago.
Yeah,
I think the size of national would, well, I mean, I'm not speaking from experience, this is just what I've heard, but how it just continues to expand is a microcosm of the hobby itself, though. The
Yeah.
hobby, like when it comes to sales, I mean, you look at these auction houses and stuff, like it's going bonkers. And one thing that actually did kind of inspire me, which was really cool and special, was just seeing like how many kids were into these things and like actively trying to negotiate with guys, and
that's
you
great.
know,
to see that.
maybe
Yeah,
maybe they weren't like $1,000 cars, but just seeing kids like excited and engaged in bonding with their dads over this stuff, like that was
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
my kids are younger, but I can only hope that they'll get into a hobby like this as they age, you know.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think that the one thing that kind of sticks out to me about the memorabilia portion of the show, and I don't know if you guys noticed it, aside from the auction houses, right? So you got the big guys like Pristine's there and REA and Heritage and all those guys. Then you have like, you know, the guys like Fitterman who are really big outfit, you know, dealers. But a lot of the smaller tables that have memorabilia tend to be on the older side of the generation, right? Like you see the guys that are in their 60s, you know, maybe late 50s, 60s, 70s, things like that. And I actually wonder what happens when that generation passes away. You know, are we going to see an influx of new young kids that are excited about memorabilia, or are these shows just going to get dominated by trading cards? And you can't even, and you can only find. I mean, look at any vintage table. You're not seeing young kids running vintage tables,
Exactly.
right? So what happens to that vintage market when these guys pass, and maybe it doesn't get passed down to their children? You know, so that's like I don't want to say it's a worry.
It's interesting.
But it's something that I've noticed going to these shows. And I always wonder, like, you know, where are we going to be in 10, 15 years at some of these shows?
I mean,
So-
I feel like someone's gonna have to carry that torch, but I
It's
don't.
going to be auction houses. It's going to be
I don't know
online.
who.
It's not going to be these guys. These guys that you see at the shows with the memorabilia and the vintage cards, these were your OG guys that did this with mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
Probably
Brick and
got
mortar.
shut down a long time ago. They have all this inventory, you know,
Yeah.
and this is what they do. They go from show to show, selling what they have, and maybe they're buying and selling new stuff. But a lot of these older guys, and you hit it on the head, exactly what I was thinking, Frank, is that all these vintage guys are, you know, kind of baby boomers, guys that kind of are not so involved in the new hobby, which is digital or, you know, auction houses or online. And I worry that, like, you know, that was like the golden era, you know, like when I was growing up, going to my local card shop, which was, you know, both memorabilia and cards. It was like one of my favorite pastimes. Now you go to a local card shop, if it even still exists, and it's cards. Like there's very, very little memorabilia anymore. I think the memorabilia is strictly more of an online business than cards are now. And truth be told, I feel like cards are more of a business and memorabilia is more of a hobby.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, 100% right. What up? Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, you know, as the years go on. But I don't think that means that the hobby's going to, you know, that the memorabilia hobby's going to die with these guys. But I will be interested to see who kind of who they pass that torch on to.
It's
They're gonna have to sell their
houses.
memorabilia, right? They're gonna have to sell everything they have.
Somebody's
at some
gonna
point.
buy it.
Whether they pass it on to their kids and their kids don't know what to do with it, and their kids just unload it, like you said, to an auction house or whatever it is. But all that stuff's going to go back into the hands of somebody, whether it's a collector or a dealer or something like that. And I really do hope that somebody carries that torch, because as much as I enjoy trading cards, I love memorabilia. And I don't want to go to these shows and not be able to look at, memorabilia either that I want, that I can't afford, that I'm just window shopping. I like to see a lot of that stuff, and I just hope that it doesn't go away.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to think of this in a black and white manner. Like anything else, like these things go in trends and cycles too. Cards are as hot as they've ever been right now, and they're always going to be around, no doubt about it. But I mean, who's to say that the tables aren't going to turn in 10, 20 years for whatever reason, like anything else? I mean, there is no way to really know.
Because of how cards are getting so mass produced, and I think people, and they're getting expensive also. Before, cards weren't that expensive. You could buy a box of cards with your kids and sit at the table and open them up. Now you just can't do that. 99% of my card collection is mass produced 90s cards from when I was 8-9 years old, and they aren't worth a damn thing.
I mean, the 90s is a great of cards to collect. It's like the whole parallel refractor generation of like kind of united what cards are today.
Yeah,
but
I didn't have anything of value, but that's all right.
No, I mean, back then we weren't chasing the one-on-one. We were opening packs because we wanted to open packs. Today, people are chasing cards. It's not about just opening a pack and finding your favorite player. When I opened up a pack of my upper deck, I wasn't sitting there thinking like, oh, I need to get the one-on-one refractor parallel rainbow. I just wanted to hit a Jordan. Base Jordan. That's all I wanted.
I would say that most of the cards that get hit today are sold immediately.
100%.
They're not being PC'd. Nobody's I mean, there are people doing it, but a vast majority of the stuff that's being hit in breaks or ripped in local card shops, they are acquiring the card, grading it, selling it. Done.
It's 100%. It's gambling on another level. That's what it comes down to. I mean, and like even at the National, I think one of the things I said to Eric when we got there was like, oh, it was like the breaker section, and we were like, you could so see the age difference. There was music, and it was like just young, like 20-year-old and kids, like having a wild time.
Was different, right?
Yeah, it was totally different. All digital screens and LEDs, and then you got like the rest of the show, which was just like tables of like you said, vintage or memorabilia. Yeah. It was two very distinct crowds.
Yeah, two different worlds. Yep. What
I'm sorry for refrain. I actually thought that was kind of cool to witness that, though. To witness how the different types of generations are technically interested in the same hobby. We're in the same space, but we just kind of look at it differently.
Yeah.
It was kind of fascinating to observe that.
I wish there were more collectors. That's what it really comes down to. I just wish it was less business and more collectors.
Right.
Yeah. I do feel like I feel like the business side of it, it's definitely kind of like declining a little bit. Maybe not the trading card side, but for the memorabilia side, there was a massive spike during COVID.
Yeah.
People saw there was a way to make money. Mike Trout was hot. This was even like before Ohtani kind of popped off, and people were just wheeling and dealing, buying stuff. Tatis was big at the time, at least in the baseball world, because that's really my focus. But a lot of those guys that I saw selling stuff, they're gone. They're not in the Facebook groups anymore. They're off doing their own thing. They went to go do other stuff, and they're just not into it because there's not enough money to be made now on the collectible, on the memorabilia side.
Right.
I could see it kind of steadily declining, and then maybe we don't get as many of those people, and we, then the real collectors can jump in and actually acquire some of the stuff that we want to hold on to.
It would be nice to see.
It would be.
I think people are still stuck on COVID prices.
Yeah, that's it's hard to justify that something was going for 20x 4 years ago, and now I have to sell it. Yeah, now they feel like, I'm selling it for a loss, but you're not. You're actually selling it for what the actual value is now. It's kind of
market is.
Yeah, but even the guys I'm saying that bought during COVID, they're like, oh my God, these prices keep going up, and then they buy something at $10,000 thinking they got a great deal. Let's just use Kobe jerseys for instance. All these limited Kobe jerseys that people were paying $10,000-$12,000 for. Yeah, and now the market kind of stabilized and went down. But
corrected
it's like,
a little bit.
All right, well, I paid $10,000-$12,000 for this jersey. They don't want to take a loss in that. They're stuck on that price. versus selling it today for $8,000.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around, especially if you're acquiring multiple pieces. And look at some of the guys that bought these Jordan, PSA 10s. $700,000. I mean, you're not you may never get that back ever.
Oh,
he might have to die for that to happen. And even then,
the PSA 8s are selling the PSA 8 during the peak was selling for like 25, 26,000. Now PSA 9 is probably about that or a little more, maybe about that, maybe even less actually. So like those guys that bought PSA 8s, those are selling for $8,000 today.
Yeah,
you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yep, it's crazy. Well, when you guys walked into the National, obviously both of you guys big Jordan guys, did you expect to see anything there that you've never seen before? Or did you kind of feel like, okay, I'm going to see some Jordan stuff that's, maybe overpriced or fake, whatever. But was there anything in you that was like, I feel like this is the place for me to find something super unique? Or did you actually find anything that you hadn't seen from a Jordan?
I have.
No?
I honestly, Frank, was, well, first of all, I'll shout out Fitterman Sports because they definitely had more Jordan than anyone else there. First of all,
that was
so they do need a shout out for that. But yeah. I expected to see more like rare, difficult to acquire Jordan pieces, and I really didn't see very much of that. I mean, I saw like a couple of floorboards which were nice, but they can be had, but not like the unicorn pieces I was expecting, and especially because we were in Chicago too, like the epicenter. So not to say that there weren't awesome pieces freaking everywhere, because there absolutely were.
Yeah, there were. Yeah,
but when we're talking unicorn stuff, I kind of expected a little bit more.
And with the stuff that you did see, obviously the National, everybody starts high, right? They jack their prices up a little bit. They know there's going to be a lot of negotiations going on. With the Jordan stuff that you saw, did you feel like a lot of those guys kind of did that? Or did you feel like the asking prices were semi-reasonable? Or was it one of those things where you look at it like,
I think they were all overpriced.
Yeah. Without, and they would never have come down to a realistic number from those numbers.
Yeah, no, like I think kind of going back to the prior talking point, I think a lot of guys are still just hell-bent on what these items were worth in like 2020, 2021, and they probably bought high, so they at least want to get back what they put into it. So I think we're seeing a lot of that now in the Jordan market. Well, in all markets, I would imagine, but Jordan is just my area.
Yeah, I thought I would come back with at least one Jordan piece that was reasonably priced, and the only thing I came back with was a Kobe Bryant from Eric. But,
was there anything that missing that, man? I shouldn't have done that.
Was there anything that you saw that you tried to negotiate on and you were like hell bent on getting it, but you just couldn't get the number down? Was there any like one piece where you were like, man, if this guy would just budge a little bit, I could walk out of here with this thing?
I don't think so. Nothing comes to mind. I mean, like, I'm thinking about all the Jordan items that I saw, and I think the one that I actually wanted, that I actually went back to the guy, it was Sunday Eric. I don't know if you remember the guy that had the pennant, and he had the pennant, and he had the check that was written out to Mitch Kupchak. The check is the one thing I was like, all right, it's unique, but he
did have some.
I'll say this: a lot of guys. I was just talking about this with somebody else. They talk to you as though you don't know anything. Like, they don't realize, they try to educate you, or they try to tell you a story about why something is worth more money. And, you sit and you listen, but in your head, you're like, I know what it's worth. I do my research. I know the market. A lot of it's just kind of like salesman tactics. And this guy just tried to make this a premium because of who it was written out to. And he tried to, it said legal fees, and maybe the story's true. Yeah, okay. Like Mitch Kupchak, why would Jordan be paying Mitch Kupchak for legal fees? He's like, he probably lost a bet while he was golfing. Possibly, but we don't know that. So I'm not buying your check on that assumption.
Sure, right. If there's no providence to it,
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. So when you guys walked in, was there anything that stood out to you that you felt like, man, next time I come back, maybe I would have done things differently, from the perspective? Like, did you feel like there was anything that they could change so that next time it would be a little bit better or a little bit more conducive to maybe, you guys finding, booths or, things like that?
So the vendors upstairs, the new vendors, it was like the first time vendors area upstairs. That was terrible. Like, you were back to back in those aisles. You remember, Eric? Like, and Frank, did you go upstairs?
I never made my way up there. Nope.
You never made it. I mean, you had
You can
maybe
even
about 3
move,
feet
dude.
of space. Yeah. So you had tables on each side, and you had about 3 feet of space between each table, and people just trying to squeeze their way through. So I think they could have done a better job with the new vendors upstairs, spreading out the tables just a little more. I understand that they were doing signings up there too, but that really wasn't conducive, at least, for having people, I guess, get by or walk through. One of the things I would do differently is I was kind of like all over the place. I wanted to see the whole show. So it was like, I think what I would do next time is kind of dedicate a room per day almost. And take my time. One day I'll stick around on this side. I think there's 3 sections. So next year, I'd probably want to just be like, all right, I'm not going to try to get it all in one day. I'm going to stick to this area for one day, that area for one day, that area for one day. And then once I finally take it all in, then I can bounce from place to place. But I feel like when you're running around trying to see everything, you're actually not. Yeah.
The one thing that I feel like I would like to see, because I get, just like Eric was saying, where, you just get kind of like disoriented. Like, you don't know where you are. Did I walk over here? Was I over there? I feel like they have the aisle banners, right? The 500 aisle, the 600 aisle, all that. But they don't have booth numbers on all the tables.
Right.
So I don't know which booth I saw this at. It would be nice for, let's say the guy's talking
have
to
like
somebody.
a little pole.
Have like a little pole with like a number on it, right? Or something on the table that says, booth, 605. So I could write it down and say, okay, I saw this thing at this booth number. I could ask the guy what his booth number is, but maybe he's busy. He's talking to somebody else and I'm trying to move around, So that I
know what
would
the
like
National should do? You should, or the National, they should have an interactive map where you could click on a table, mark it, and then have you be able to trace your way back.
Yeah, we're going to cut this out so we can get into the development phase of this.
Right.
It's like a mall, right? We were at Woodbury Commons this past weekend,
right?
And if I'm at Adidas and I want to get to Nike,
Nike, I don't think Eric knows what Woodbury Commons is. It's an outlet up in New York.
Oh yes, outlet up in New York. Yeah. And we did it on the way down from Lake George, upstate New York. Right. So, we went there. And if I'm at Adidas and I want to go to Nike, I type in Nike, I hit go, and then it literally tells me, okay, it's going to take you 5 minutes, and this is the way you should go. So something like that would actually be beneficial. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know if there's a massive demand for it, but I definitely would use it.
Oh, my God. I went back, actually, Eric, to find that Peter Max piece. Remember the guy that had the 2 Peter Maxes? I swear to God, I spent 20 minutes. I thought I was going crazy. From table to table asking, were you the one with the Peter Max? Couldn't find it for the life of me.
You know what's funny? I know exactly. If I walk into the place right now, I can tell you where he is. I know exactly where he was. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yep.
I swear, I thought I did. But everyone said they weren't the guy. I don't know.
I did that the first year. The first year at the National, I found a Atlanta Braves team signed baseball. It was from the 50s. I forgot what it was. I remember seeing it, and I was like, all right, don't buy something from like the first table you walk over to. Right. Just walk around, take your time, whatever. When I tell you I spent the next day and a half looking for this table, because I remembered what the setup looked like, I could not find it. And I left there so angry that I did not write it down, take notes, know what aisle it was, because it was a rookie move. It was my first time, and I just wasn't thinking about that. I figured, I'll find it. Couldn't find it for the life of me.
Yeah, well, the thing is, too, keep in mind, sorry, Eric, the last day, people are packing up early. So if you're someone that, like, knows your way through, like, landmarks, it's not going to work.
Now they're tearing everything down.
Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense.
So I just wanted to add, Frank, one other thing. I was there for a couple of the signings as well.
Oh, that's right.
I was surprised by the lack of organization with that, man. So
it's brutal.
So that was the first. Well, like we shared, like that's my first national. So I didn't really know what to expect when it came to the signings, but I expected some semblance of organization, and it was not there.
No, and
it was just total chaos, man. Like there's like a crowd of like 400 people just standing around. No one knows what's going on. No one is communicating. I saw like a number of people who were furious because they didn't understand where they were supposed to be at which time and missed out
Yeah.
on their tickets.
Yep.
And like that's a serious problem, man. Like, yeah,
Yep.
I was really was not impressed with it. I mean, I ended up getting my Harper autograph, which was awesome. I
Yeah,
love Ron
great.
Harper, as
Yep.
many of our members know and GOAT. So that experience was priceless, and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity. But they need to do a better job with that organization, so
Yeah.
people get what they're paying for. You know.
Yeah. I never did I never waited online for a signing, but I sent in last year. Sending in last year, I got maybe 3 or 4 things back with the wrong marker used. I sent in a very specific color for those items, and none of them got done right. And, you know, I mean, listen, I understand that you're not going to get your pen back, right? You send in a marker, you're never going to see it again. But some of the markers are not cheap, you know?
Right.
So you go out of your way, you buy a marker, you pay for shipping, it comes to you, then you got to ship everything out. So you spend a lot of the time and the effort to make sure that the product, you know, comes back to you the way that you expected it to. And 3 of like really like nice things that I really wanted for my PC just came back with the wrong marker on it. And I was so pissed, but that's why I didn't send anything in this year. Because I just didn't want to take the chance, you know?
Right.
But now, I don't know if that was a promoter thing. I don't know if that was a handler thing or a player thing. It could have been anything. So I'm not putting the blame on anybody in particular. But it definitely threw me off and made me not want to send in this year. So,
do you think a lot of people do like consignments with friends and stuff like that? Yeah, I think that's probably like a better way of doing it, wouldn't you think?
Yes, I know somebody who you know, who will go to a show and they'll be like, hey, you know, does anybody need this person, that person? Obviously, they're going to charge you for their time and stuff, but at least that person gets to walk up to the table and say, this pen, you know, shake it up, make sure it's good, you know.
And you trust that person
value in that, and you trust them.
Make an honest effort to actually get it done for you.
I mean, I never understood that though. For instance, you let's just use Mike Tyson, for instance, because we know him and Fitterman are close, right? That's Fitterman's guy. So let's just say Fitterman charges $100. And then everybody else starts taking in submissions for the Tyson signing, but they're charging $100 too. Like I never understood how are people taking in these submissions and making money off these? You know, if they're charging the same price as what the exclusive is.
Well, I think that's a thing that's brokered between the exclusive.
Between them.
So, for example, not saying this is the case, but you know, if a company like Fitterman is paying $100 and everybody's paying $100, the dealer gets it for $85.
Okay.
Or 90, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah,
so
like there's got
there's
got to be a margin, or else it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, because then you would have the promoters running around just making up prices, because then they'd have to mark everything up, and then it's like, well, why would I go through a promoter when I can just go directly to a guy like Fitterman or any other outfit and just pay less? So the pricing has to be the same across the board, and then there's got to be some kind of percentage given to the promoters, because it's volume, right? Because
Eric, why don't you tell? Oh, Frank, did you hear about Eric's Harper story?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Wait, you're talking about when you met him?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Harper's still looking for that jersey right now.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'll tell the whole thing for
tell the whole thing. Yeah.
For our listeners. So just let me give the whole backstory. The whole story as to why I love Harper, how I got this jersey, what the jersey is, what happened at the signing, etc. So I love Ron Harper because I grew up with a stutter, and I continue to, and it actually inspired me to become a speech pathologist, which is what I do for a living. So when I was a child, I didn't know anyone else who communicated like I did and do, except for Ron Harper. So I would watch him on television giving his interviews after dominating with the freaking 90s Bulls and hanging out with MJ all day. And I just remember looking at that dude like, that's my guy, man. Like, that's my guy. Like, I want to be like that guy. Like, if he can do things, like I can do things, you know? So needless to say, he has always been my guy from that moment on. So a game used Ron Harper jersey that was photo matched to like all of the Eastern Conference finals and all of the finals games in 96, 97 popped up on Heritage Auctions. I don't know, this is probably 2.5 years ago now. Soaked in champagne. I mean, this is like, if you're a Harper or just a 90s Bulls fan in general, like, this is a grail, man. So I went all in. I lost my ass on it, and I would do it all over again. I would do it all over again. So I ended up getting it. It's probably my favorite piece, and that's interesting considering I'm an MJ guy and have a number of MJs, but that's my grail. So after I heard that Harper was coming to National to sign, like I'm like, yo, I gotta show him this. Like he's gonna be so impressed, you know, like he's gonna love it. So I pack it up. We get there, and I finally get a chance to walk up to him to get my photo op, and like I'm like, yo, Harp, look, like this is your game used jersey from the '97 finals. He's like, no, I got that one hanging at home, man. Like I was looking at it recently, and I didn't want to start shit with the man whose jersey it is, but like I was thinking like, yo, this is photo matched like a dozen times over, bro.
Yeah.
Frank, I don't think you can get a better photo match on this jersey than any other jersey I've seen.
No. But it took the wind out of my sails like a little bit.
Yeah.
If I'm being 100 with you.
Now there's that doubt that all of a sudden pops into your head, even if you know that it's not true. There's that it's just lingering.
So for me, it isn't doubt at all. The photo matches are freaking ironclad across, I think, 7 games. So that's not what was bothersome. But just like, I was just hoping he would be excited with me, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Like, yo, like, I accomplished this in that jersey. I'm so happy you get to enjoy it. You know, like something like that. But that's how it was, and I got to chat with him a tiny bit afterwards, and he's cool as hell, and it was an absolutely awesome experience. But it's a really weird experience to show an athlete one of their game used items, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you never know what type of response you are going to get. I've heard all kinds of stories with this kind of stuff. Like
we had this conversation
like
last time.
Some guys get angry. Like some guys will be like Harper and play dumb, or maybe just honestly not know. You know, like maybe he had a jersey from that season from the playoffs, like the first round or something like that, and he just assumes that's what it is. Like most of these athletes don't really understand like modern collecting. Like most of them probably don't even know what a photo match is. You know.
Sure.
So just that was the first time I brought a game used item to an athlete, and it was nerve wracking and it was kind of weird, but. It was an awesome experience anyways, though, you know?
No, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a grail item for you, and then a guy that you looked up to, and then you get the opportunity to meet him. I think that's the biggest draw for me for the public signings. If you have somebody that you are willing to wait online for an hour and a half, whatever it may be, it's really it's got to be worth it. Like, I'm not going to do that to get some generic BS item signed. It's going to have to be somebody where it's either super unique and this is the only shot I have, or I really want to meet the person to tell them a story about what they did for me, about, you know, if it's a Brave, you know, talking about the 95 World Series, how much it meant to me and how it, you know, changed my life or whatever the case is. Like, those are the things that I like to do for the public signings. Outside of that, you know, waiting on a line for an hour and a half, especially at a show like that, it's really got to mean something to you, because that's a lot of time to take. You know, from you being able to walk around and experience the rest of it with so much going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually grabbing the picture right now. Let's see if the camera can.
I was going to say, show them the picture, man. The facial expression is priceless.
I bet he went home and was looking at the wall on the jersey on the wall and was like, God damn it.
Exactly. All right, look at this.
I got the wrong jersey.
Frank.
Yeah.
Look at this man's face and tell me he ain't shitting his pants. I don't know if you can see it with the background, dude.
No, it's too dark, man.
Yeah, it's a little dark,
Here, hold on. I gotta take my background off. How do you take the background off on this? I'm not tech savvy enough, man. Well, the picture is on Goat anyways. Oh, yeah, thanks. That's really, really helpful. But
you're welcome. Glad I can help.
You know, just from one tech guy to another.
Come on, man.
Oh, yeah, they see ya. He's like, ah, shit.
Yeah, man. Like he looked shocked. Yeah. Anyways, have either of you ever had an experience with that, like showing an athlete a game used item of theirs?
I have never brought a game used item to a signing. I've heard the stories.
Okay. Yeah.
Mostly Chipper Jones, because that's my guy.
I was just
yeah. But he's even questioned people like, how'd you get that? Why do you have it?
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, because they feel like that.
They asked you the same thing. His manager was asking you a bunch of questions.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He actually, I forgot about that, man. So Wes and I
was getting a little worried.
Yes, right. So I got my photo op with him,
and I was a janitor at the Bulls game, and
and then I was waiting in line for the auto, and we got to the table, and he did a great job with the auto and whatnot, and we just kind of hung around because, dude, I've been waiting forever to meet this guy. Like, I just wanted
Oh
to be
yeah,
next to
yeah.
him, you know? So Wes and I just kind of awkwardly like stood like 2 feet away from this man as everyone else was signing. And his manager saw my jersey and he's like, so like, what is that? Like, where's it from? And he peppered me with at least half a dozen questions about it. I think he understood better than Ron did.
He was
But
like, "Where did you get it from? How much did you
Yeah.
pay for it? How long ago did you
yeah,
get it?
yeah,
Who did?"
yeah.
Like, it was just one question after
he really
another.
did want to know it all. It was
When
it
you
was
told him that you
interesting.
got at auction, did like it kind of like ease some of the tension or the?
Yeah, I wouldn't say
I
he was
didn't
being
feel
like hostile, but
Okay.
he was just curious. I think like he was just
Mm.
wondering how like a normal fan could get something like that.
Yeah, but you don't think it was one of those things where it's like, oh, where'd you get that from? Like,
Yeah.
trying to
That's how I
find.
took it.
That's yeah.
That's how I took it. Like,
Right.
this jersey has been missing for a long time. Like,
Dude,
how did it end up in your hands?
I
That's how I took it.
had that thought and I freaked out for a second because I was like, yo, was this stolen or something? Because
Right,
this
exactly.
is like
Yeah.
the centerpiece of my collection. I'd be devastated if I had to
Well,
get this back.
and we talked about this. Like, what makes an athlete give away a big jersey like that?
Dude, like one
From,
of the top
it just-
dude, like soaked in champagne after winning the championship. Why would anyone in their right mind ever let that go? Even if it's to like a family member, it's like
unless they
that's
needed money,
yours,
and they
man.
sold
Like
it.
you worked your whole life for that moment. For that
You see
moment,
guys sell stuff like they'll sell their Heisman Trophy, things like that. But these are the older generation guys that need money. They didn't get paid a lot when they were
Right.
playing, stuff like that. I don't know. You would think that a guy like that would hold on to something like that.
Yeah. But anyways, even with the unexpected type of reaction from Ron, it was worth every penny, every moment of time put into it. It was just awesome, man. It was
Yeah,
a very
exactly.
special experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think we
Yeah.
all were in agreement that, a great part of the show for us was the networking, the connections, getting to meet the people that, you talk to on Facebook all the time or text messages and stuff like that. And you finally get to meet them in person. I think for me, that's the most fun part of the trip with the connections that you guys made. Or did you feel like for GOAT, do you feel like you guys made any new connections that are going to change the way that maybe GOAT kind of navigates through the growth process of what you guys have already kind of built? You don't have to say who it was or what's in the pipeline, things like that, but do you feel like you made new connections, or was this more of a, just kind of getting in front of the people that you've already known?
Kind of a little bit of both. I
agree.
feel like, one of the things I went there with was wanting to get face to face with our prior connections and partnerships. So I wanted to make sure to get face to face with Ryan and Pristine, and if VSA was there, I would have loved to have been face to face with them. And you, of course,
I was waiting for that.
that was like my goal, was like get to see the people that we already have relationships with.
Yeah.
And just be able to spend some time and face to face with them and speak to them. We definitely made some connections outside of our current partnerships, but more on like the, I think more of like the private mom and pop type of guy, like not the big corporate people, but more of the individual like vendors. So, we've definitely, made some contacts that way, but I don't think it's changed how GOAT in itself is going to expand. I think, from day one, Eric and I, having grown this organically, will continue to grow it organically. And I think growth, honestly, today is mostly, it's great to go to the shows and build it, but a lot of it is social media today.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. I think that, for me, with the connections and things like that, I think mine was mostly meeting up to people, like you guys and Nick Key, who's, a very good friend of mine through the sports memorabilia stuff, baseball in particular. So just getting a chance to connect with them, you guys, was great. And those are the things that I look forward to. For Vitrine, I feel like I got a lot of really good ideas just from walking around, things that were just like hitting me, and I was just like, man, am I doing this? I guess I kind of questioned myself, like, am I doing this the right way? Am I taking the path of least resistance, or am I kind of going against the grain here? Maybe I should be kind of shifting directions, and not saying that we're doing anything wrong or in a bad way, but I think it definitely kind of I felt when I left there, I was like, okay, I have a plan to kind of take this thing and move forward. And those are the things that I appreciate the most out of this. I sold a bunch of stuff. It would have been nice to buy some things, but I can leave there happy without selling anything, without buying anything, but just taking it all in, listening to people, talking to you guys, You know, that's the part that kind of hypes me up, and I felt really good leaving there. So I'm excited. I'm already excited for next year. I leave there and I'm pumped.
Yeah,
I'm like,
man.
let's do next year. Let's do it bigger. Let's do it better. Let's stay more days. This year I felt like I didn't.
Hey
stay
man, you're
long enough.
staying all 4 days next year.
No, next year I'm doing it
Yes.
different. I mean, look, I go with my friends, so there's a lot of extracurricular stuff that kind of gets
Sure.
like prioritized. But you know, I think that for all of us, this becomes more of a business trip. You know, we're running businesses. This is what we're doing. We're trying to grow something. Yes, it's nice to do the dinners with friends and hang out and stay up late and things like that. But you know, at the end of the day, I think that once we get there, you can have that fun, but you really got to kind of focus in on the real agenda, and that's to continue to network, continue to make your connections, and continue to grow the business.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think I found that happening kind of naturally when we were there, man. Like it was a nice combination of business but pleasure also, you know, just running into people we knew constantly. Um, so talking business, but just also connecting on a personal level and just kind of enjoying just being a part of the event, which was
Yeah.
mind-blowingly freaking huge. And yeah, like I feel like I've talked about it kind of negatively, just in terms of the size and not enough memorabilia, blah blah. But it was a blast, and
Yeah,
I
it's a
feel
lot.
like I feel like overall it was pretty well done. That is a difficult event to pull off with that amount of people within that space. I think overall it was pretty impressive, and almost everyone that I've talked with had a great time.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that if you're a collector and you haven't been there, I mean, I get it's not cheap to get there, hotels and all that stuff. But I think that if you're a serious collector and you haven't been there, you gotta go.
oh yeah,
You have to at least experience it once. And I
don't
think if
even
you
have to go
experience
the
it
whole
once,
time. Go for a weekend.
yeah, no, I definitely stayed way too short of a period this time. That was just, you know, that was like a little bit of a scheduling thing, but I should have stayed from day one till the end. And then you could have people meet you there. You know, oh, you want to fly in on a Thursday? Come in on a Thursday. We'll meet up. But you know, next time it's definitely going to be, because I like West. I like the idea of a day in this room, a day in that room, another day in this room. Like that. That's a good way to kind of compartmentalize the place, because it is huge. There's a lot to go through.
right.
I don't even know how people
I
do it with
think
trading cards, because there's every single trading card table, not everyone, but a lot of them have, you know, similar stuff, right? You're looking at the same cards over and over again. And I just feel like I don't even know how, if I was a big trading card collector, I would feel way too overwhelmed.
yeah.
in a
I think
place-
I think next year just I want to go into it with a plan, you know. My goal for this year was to kind of just experience it. But I think next year going in with a legitimate plan and an agenda is a
Yeah.
good way to kind of attack it. Now knowing what the environment is like too, you know, like it's so large and chaotic that if you don't have a plan, you are just going to be walking in circles and you're going to get lost and lose your place and maybe not see everything you want to see ultimately, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, every year I go, I feel like I do a little bit better with it. This year I felt like I did, I just didn't stay long enough. So, got to change that for next year for sure.
Well, I have an extra couch if Uncle Frank needs it, so.
Yeah. You hear that, Wes? You hear that?
Yeah, it's all good.
I got off of the couch,
All right, Frank.
Yep.
You guys can cuddle on the couch if you want.
I don't know about that.
You can cut
Uncle
that
Frank
out
likes
if
to
you need
sleep
to.
alone. Uncle Frank's not a big cuddler. Yeah. So next year,
Sorry.
it's in Chicago. It looks like the year after, 2027, it's in Chicago, and then 2028, Detroit.
Mm.
So that should be that. I mean, listen, I like Chicago. I think it's a great city. I think they do a great job, but I would like to bounce around a little bit. I would like to see other cities, go to games in other cities, whether it's you know, Tigers games or, you know, whatever. This year I actually wanted to go to Wrigley, didn't get a chance to do it because we left early, but that's the kind of thing that I would like to do. And I know that there was a lot of talk about like how, you know, people didn't want to go to Atlantic City anymore because it was East Coast, and for the West Coast guys it was a really long, you know, trip and stuff like that, so they want to kind of keep it more in the central part, you know, of the country. But I hope they just keep moving it around, because I think it would be nice for people from other places to experience what that's like, you know, to have a national in your city, because I think it's great for the city too. They got to be bringing in a ton of money for Chicago, or Rosemont.
Absolutely, just all of the parking tickets alone.
Oh man,
I can only imagine.
Yeah, you don't even want to see how many Ubers I took.
Oh God.
It
Yeah.
was unreal.
But I just, and this is not speaking from a place of experiences. It was my first this year, but like I would just imagine it would be really difficult to host that event as well as it was hosted in Chicago. You know, so in your experience, Frank, have you experienced a national elsewhere that was hosted as well or better?
Just Cleveland. Cleveland was nice. I actually liked Cleveland a lot.
I heard people didn't like Cleveland. It was too spread out. It wasn't easy to get there.
It was. Yeah. I like the vibe of it. I like the city. The city was fun. I think that's a big part of it too. I mean, there's a lot of people that, especially like dealers and stuff, vendors, you know, you're going into this place and you're there all day, all night, right? Whether it's setting up, tearing down, locking things up and all that stuff. So maybe they don't get to experience, you know, the city around, but I feel like that's a big part of it, right? Because you want to go somewhere where you can also walk outside safely, enjoy yourself, you know, find nice restaurants, things like that. So I think that that's part of the attraction. I would say, as much as I liked Cleveland, I think Chicago is better, you know, for the National. I thought they did a better job there. The first year was tough because of the AC thing, but this year I thought was great. The best year that I've been there so far. I've only been there 3 years.
The Javits Center or even the Anaheim Convention Center is probably, you know, the Chicago Convention Center or the Donald E. Stevens. It's a huge convention center.
Yeah, tremendous.
Javits Center is probably larger, if not. You know,
yeah, they have a new wing, the Javits Center, so it's massive.
So yeah, you can walk out the Donald E. Stevens. You know, you have the hotels and you have, I think, like that little shopping area, but it's not. I think for the people that go, yeah, okay, you know, it's not in the heart of Chicago versus, say, the Javits Center, which is like in Manhattan. You know, where you step outside and you're in the city and you can walk a couple of blocks. You don't have to take a car somewhere. And same thing with Anaheim. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Anaheim, but I think it's Anaheim or Long Beach Convention Center. I think it's Anaheim. You know, you walk out and it just shops and hotels and, you know, I think something like that would be really nice.
I think the Javits Center would be great. I feel like maybe the thing that would deter them from doing out, aside from it being on the East Coast, it's probably more expensive to rent the space in the Javits Center than it is in a convention center outside of the city of Chicago, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe that's something that would deter them. The Javits Center can absolutely handle it. I mean, the place is massive.
Yeah.
I'm in there quite a bit because I do a lot of work for them, you know, with their radios and stuff like that. So I'm in there all the time, and the place is tremendous. And they did Fanatics Fest, which is a quarter of the size of what a National is. And I thought it was great. I thought this year Fanatics Fest was awesome. So yeah, Javits Center would do a good job for sure.
Hey, not to change the topic, I figured out how to take my background off. Tell me that ain't the face of a dude who knows that's his jersey. Come on.
Yeah. Did you feel him like...
Stay right there. Keep it right there.
Yeah.
That's the oh shit look.
Come on, man. He knows.
Did you feel him tugging on it? Like, hey, give me that. You're like, hey man, imagine you guys are like going at it, like pulling it apart.
Dude, I so badly wanted to like challenge him on it.
Yeah.
But like I was like, first of all, that wouldn't be appropriate. And second of all, I doubt they understand memorabilia like we do. Like how would you even talk about that to them, you know? Or what's even the purpose in like doing so? You're just doing it for yourself at that point, which is selfish.
Right. And you don't want to like get into a thing where like, you know, maybe he realizes that it was
right.
And then he's upset about it.
Pushes buttons and then it goes south. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You had your interaction, you said hello, you showed it to him, he signed it, you got a chance to talk to him, he's an idol of yours. That's it. If he thinks he's got the jersey, let him think that, you know?
That was a wild experience, brother.
I want to see the jersey. I want to see the jersey that's on his wall.
I can guarantee you he checked as soon as he got home. I can guarantee it.
1,000%.
Oh, hey, I am shocked this didn't come up, and I know we have to go because it's getting late, but Wes, you haven't talked about your flight over.
Wow.
Oh, man.
The best
I don't know if we should talk about that.
Yeah.
No, let's go. This is unreal. I mean, talk about luck, man. It's so sick.
Talk about luck.
Yeah, just tell him.
Frank, did we tell you that the night before we were literally talking about this? Eric, myself, and Jordan Wakely were talking about running into Scottie Pippen at an airport.
Get out of here.
Literally, I swear to God, 24 hours the night before we were talking about this. And just like people's experiences with
it was ordained
airports. It really was.
Wow.
And so pretty much after we were having these conversations, well, actually before we had these conversations, I got the check into your flight email that says, you know, what to expect in your flight, upgrade, blah blah blah. Cool. So I upgraded to first class for, like, you know, whatever, a pretty good deal. And
Must be nice.
as I'm actually at the airport, actually started a conversation with somebody. They were carrying around one of those Zion cases.
Mhm.
So like, you know, hey, you go to national, blah blah blah. Get on the plane, and this guy's walking in front of me. So we're kind of like in the middle group of people that were boarding the plane, and this dude's in front of me. He's also sitting in first class, and I'm counting the numbers on the top. 1, 2, 3. I'm sitting in 3F. So I'm looking up first. I'm like, all right, that's my seat. And I look down, and Scottie fucking Pippen is in the window seat next to my seat. So the first thing I do, because you're just like, there's no fucking way this is happening. In my head, I'm like, holy shit, like, this can't be real. I'm looking at my phone, like double checking to making sure it's the right seat. So the Swiftie in me came out, and I sat down next to Pip. And I called him Pip, by the way. I sat down next to Scottie.
That's by far my favorite part, dude. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
like,
sat down next to
as
Scottie.
if you were part of like the '90s Bulls, like, you know, like
Right.
you're his
Like
boy.
you were at you
know?
were at the family
Right,
reunion. Like you're at a barbecue with him.
First thing I do, you can just imagine, I'm like, we're sitting this way. So I turn to him, I go, Scottie fucking Pippen. And with his deep voice, he just gives me the nod. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't even know exactly what he said, but it was along the lines like, dude, I'm a huge fan. I love you. You're a legend. You know, I grew up watching you guys. And then, you know, I was telling him I collect this stuff, all this just going on. And so I said, look, I'm not going to talk your ear off the whole flight. I'm just going to talk it off right now. I said, do you mind if I get a signature and a picture? And he very nicely said, I don't sign, but I'll take a picture with you. Cool. I said, I'll take that memory. We took a picture, 2 selfies together. And then he was pretty tired, but as you know, we're sitting there waiting to board, and he's kind of dozing on and off. So I'm trying to build this relationship with Scottie. And
While he's fake sleeping.
while he's facing, exactly, thinking I need to move my seat, probably. This guy, I can't believe who I'm sitting next to. So, like, you know, I'm texting with my wife and my son, and I'm just like, you know, I'm sitting next to Scottie Pippen, and she's like, leave him alone. Don't talk to him. West, leave him alone.
Even she knows.
She knew right away.
Yeah.
So I tapped Scottie. I'm like, she's telling me not to talk to you. He got a little
He's
laugh
like,
out.
yeah, you should fucking listen to her.
He's like, yeah,
If
listen
you
to
listen
her.
to your wife.
So after all that's said and done, you know, he passes out. We take off. We take the food orders, and he wakes up, and he leans in and says, you know, did they come around for the orders? I said, yeah. He goes, all right. I go, do you want anything? He's like, no, I'm good. I go, Scottie. I didn't say Scottie. I said, do you want anything? He's like, no, I'm good. I said, Pip, I got you. So I leaned over.
It's just so embarrassing.
I said, Pip, I got you. I leaned over and I called the flight attendant over to get his order.
God, I love it so much.
So they come over and take his order.
I have tears.
And then, you know, Scottie didn't know this, but we were actually having dinner together on the plane, and I have footage of this. I was having dinner together.
Dude, you literally do have footage, and that's weird.
I do
by the
have
way, but
I'm gonna need
So,
that. You're gonna have to.
I'll send it to you. So
God.
after dinner's done,
It just gets creepier. Yeah, keep going.
I mean, listen, he falls back asleep. He wakes up mid-flight, whatever, how long in the flight, like, and he has like a little blanket that's like a napkin on him. So he leans over and says, "Hey man, can I get your blanket?" I'm like, "Of course, Pip. Here you go. Like, here, take my blanket." So he covers himself up for the rest of the flight. He's sleeping. Matter of fact, I think in the beginning of the flight, I asked him if he was going to national. He said no, and I was thinking, "Oh well, Hodge is going to be there. You know, Harper, Purdue. You know, come hang out with your boys."
Your boys,
And,
yeah.
And he said, you know, he had other plans. So he wakes up, and then I asked him again. I said, "You sure you don't want to come to national?" "No, I'm good." You know, that deep Scotty voice. Thanked me for giving him my blanket. Got off the plane. We were walking off the plane. I said, "It was great meeting you." He's like, "You too, brother." And we just went our own ways. Here's the gum.
Dude.
Old school Gatorade.
Yep. And I remember, game was over. Jordan took it. He was sitting on the bench. He put it in the cup and threw the cup underneath. As soon as that horn went off, I asked the security guard, "Hey, can I grab that?" And he let me grab it. And then check this picture out that I actually took. Check this picture out.
Sorry, guys.
I took that picture. I was standing on the
Dude,
baseline.
I forgot about that.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that amazing? Right? I freaking love it.
So
Yeah.
that's just a picture on your phone. You never printed it or anything?
I have the negatives. I took the film. I have the film. So what it was?
That's sick,
My
man.
girlfriend at the time. No, obviously. Well, you could see it says, what's it say? Valentine's Day 2000, love, Ariella.
Huh?
She
You better hope your wife
found the
ain't watching this,
negatives
buddy.
and she made an 8x10 for me and framed it for me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
Yep.
That's really cool.
One of my favorite pictures. I mean, I must have been like, honestly, maybe like 5 to 10 feet from MJ when I took this picture.
Dude, imagine if you sent that into Upper Deck for one of the signings when he actually did that.
Well, matter of fact, Eric,
That would have
the
been sick.
game,
That'd be cool, yeah.
Frank, I don't know if you know this, but from that game, I sent a picture. Upper Deck used to do send-ins. So the reason I love this picture so much that I sent in, look at this one. This is from the same game. Where's my poster? From Madison Square Garden. This is the game I attended, and I had MJ sign this poster
Oh, that's great.
from the same game.
Yeah,
Isn't that cool?
yeah, I remember.
That's great.
That's sick.
That's awesome. How much were signings back then when they were doing signings?
I think the poster was 800 for the send-in. I sent in shoes and a poster, and maybe the shoes were 800. The poster was 500.
What would a signing go for today? What do you guess? He
I-
does one
If
signing.
you would do a send-in,
K
Send it.
minimum, I
oh,
think.
I think more than that. I think 15,000.
Well, I think they would have pricing for tiers of items, wouldn't you think?
oh
like
yeah,
a-
for sure.
Like a game used item, obviously.
No, that's gonna
I
have to
mean,
be something astronomical.
God knows, but like like a jersey or a card, like you would think there would be tiers, but I never took advantage of it when Upper Deck was doing it, so I don't know how they organized it.
I mean, minimum.
Yeah, I mean-
an inscription's got to be like what, $5,000-$10,000 probably if he was to do one
Easy.
signing.
Easy. If he even were to do that. Right?
No, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I still have
Yeah.
emails from all these.
Yeah, that ship has sailed, man. I mean,
Sucks.
I honestly am shocked he signs it all anymore. He has no reason to. He has no
So-
motive to. I'm shocked he wastes his time doing it. But I'm
I mean, it's
grateful he does.
contractual, right? I mean, that's really all it is.
But right.
Well, he's been signed. There's a lot of new items coming onto the market that are supposedly being signed.
Aren't they
down
number
in
swapping?
Florida.
Aren't they doing like
Number
number
swapping?
swaps, like taking like a old like number or putting it on like a new jersey or something like that? I heard somebody was saying something
Oh.
where they were like recycling old autographs and putting it on new stuff or something like that.
Who was doing that?
I don't know. That's
I
that's
haven't
what
seen Upper
somebody-
Deck do that.
No.
No, they will consistently use the same images on new items over and over and over again, but not necessarily like take part of an old piece and place it on a newer item or anything like that. You know?
Well, Upper
Maybe that
Deck,
was
for
when-
instance, if they had numbers pieces that were signed, they would put them on jerseys. So when you look up the hologram number, it says sign number 2 versus
Yeah.
jersey.
Fine jersey.
Um,
Right. Or maybe that was
or
like
they-
after he stopped when he announced that they were gonna like stop. He was not gonna sign again, and all that. Maybe people were just speculating that. Well, how is all this stuff popping up if he's not signing anymore?
Mhm.
He's definitely Upper Deck is sitting on a ton of stuff that's been signed as late as I think 2023, possibly. No, I haven't seen 24, but as late as December of 2023. But he's been doing in-person signatures. There's been a few new ones. Obviously, everyone knows about the PSA ones with the scripts that popped up. But there are new signatures coming out of Florida, supposedly, that Jordan's been signing for someone pretty frequently.
Did you see the guy who had all the goats
Mhm.
on that?
And he ended up
Patrick
getting
Ryan,
MJ?
P. Ryan,
I-
whatever his name is.
I actually wonder how he ended up getting MJ. I never heard.
Well,
What
he
the
said-
story was.
I think he said that MJ heard about it and he wanted to do it. Like he
Yeah.
heard that
Okay.
it was being done and he thought it was cool and he wanted to get it done for him.
Cool. I am
I don't know if
honestly
there was any
shocked
money
he
that
had any
exchanged
interest in
hands,
doing
but-
that.
He got the soccer goat wrong, but I don't want to say anything about it. I don't want
I
to
didn't
burst
even
his
think
I
bubble.
was
about
gonna
that.
actually message you about that, man.
That sucks.
He
Yeah.
did it. He even wrote it sideways. He didn't even go with the flow of everybody else. What
Somebody
goat does
said
that?
they weren't sure if he even knew what he was signing,
Yeah, probably.
Ooh, Jordan, you're saying?
like the significance of what he
Messi.
was signing. Yeah,
Yeah, Messi signed it like so. Everybody signed like this, and then Messi signed up the side.
Oh,
So
yeah,
goats don't do
Yeah.
that. Real goats don't do that.
yeah. I'm not sure Ronaldo was ever gonna sign that.
Why? He would have did it.
It's a goat's piece.
That's enough.
on that note.
On that note.